other people, for thou hast gone a whoring from thy God. Thou hast loved a reward upon every corn floor. The floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. They shall not offer wine offerings to the Lord, neither shall they be pleasing unto him. Their sacrifices shall be unto them as bread of mourners. All that eat thereof shall be polluted for their bread, for their soul shall not come into the house of the Lord. What will ye do in the solemn day and in the day of the feast of the Lord? For lo, they are gone because of destruction. Egypt shall gather them up, Memphis shall bury them. The pleasant places of their silver, nettles shall possess them, thorns shall be in their tabernacles. The days of visitation are come, the days of recompense are come. Israel shall know it. The prophet is a fool, the spiritual man is mad, for the multitude of thine iniquity and the great hatred. The watchman of Ephraim was with my God, but the prophet is a snare of a fowler in all his ways, and hatred in the house of his God. They have deeply corrupted themselves, as in the days of Gibeah. Therefore he will remember their iniquity, he will visit their sins. I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness. I saw your fathers as the first stripe in the fig tree at her first time. But they went to Baal Peor and separated themselves unto that shame, and their abominations were according as they loved. So we're still in this cycle of judgment and restoration. That fifth cycle, remember, this is the biggest section, but we're working our way through it, and we'll take some time just to work through chapter 9 tonight. That's about the only one we're going to focus on. But right now, the people are just not, they're being told they're not going to be able to rejoice. They've sought provision from others, all right? They've been loving the prostitute's wages. That's what he's getting at in verse 1, and that they've gone whoring from their God. Thou hast loved a reward upon every corn floor. That's a reference to like threshing floors. Whenever it was time to get the harvest and thresh it, remember, they would gather that. We talked about this in our Ruth study. Well, we talked about threshing in our Ruth story. We didn't talk about the rest of this. But remember, they would gather it. It's usually in an elevated place. And they would take it. They could gather all the stuff up in the middle, and that's where they could separate like the what they needed from the chaff, right? So they would take it and they would thresh it by usually having an animal pull a sled over top of it, separate the wheat from the chaff or whatever it is that they were harvesting, and they could throw it up with a winnowing fork, right? And that would blow. The chaff would get blown away by the wind, and then the wheat would like fall down to the ground. And so then they could scoop it all up and they could get it out of the way. And that's how they would harvest. And that was a festive time. That was a celebratory time. That was a really fun time for them, right? And so people often stayed on the threshing floors. They would sleep there with their harvest because they didn't want people to come around and steal it. But they also was celebrating all around the threshing floors. And so this is also a time when promiscuous ladies might show up when there's a party going on. And so they would show up, and that's what he's getting at. They have they've acted like one of those promiscuous women, like a prostitute going out to the threshing floor in search of some lover to pay her wages. Okay? So that's what they're likening. Or that's what Israel is being likened to right here. So the floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. So they've sought that provision from others, and they are going to lose. That's the irony of it. They've been seeking Baals, or they've been seeking other gods, or they're trying to worship Yahweh and other gods. They're trying to do it all the wrong ways, trying to be taken care of, trying to be secure, and what God's telling them is it's not going to work. Ultimately, it's going to fail you. And that's an important lesson that we've been continuing to work into throughout Hosea, is this idea of trying to trust others instead of trusting God. It just doesn't work. All right? It may seem to work for just a little while, okay? But ultimately, it's going to cost you. Ultimately, there's going to be a price to pay, and it's not going to work out overall. And that's where you've got to sit back and say, okay, this